Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. So guys, I didn't end up waking up very early. I went to bed a little earlier last night. I still didn't wake up very early because I don't think I got very much sleep the night before, so my day, I didn't get started off very strong. But I did end up getting dishes and laundry done, like very well caught up right now. Then on top of that too, I didn't really come up with my meal plan, but I also didn't entirely make everything I had planned on for last week because we had, again, the guys doing the windows upstairs. So like there was one night where my mom was like, I'm just gonna cook, like, because she was basically sitting out in the living room anyway, or the kitchen kind of like living room anyway, while they were there. And then she was kind of like, I don't really have anything else to do, so she was like, do you want me to just cook? And then I wanted to make sure that I grilled on over the weekend, so that's why we kind of switched days a little bit. And so originally I hadn't planned on doing that because I was like, oh well, I probably won't be able to grill because my dad's not going to be able to do it during the week because he has football, which is one of the tough things right now. Like, I can't be like, oh, let's do hamburgers and grill hamburgers on, you know, like Wednesday or something like that, because you know, he has football practice and they don't get home until about like 5 to 6 o'clock, or maybe even later than that. So like if it takes even half an hour to an hour, we could be eating at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, which is pretty late to be having dinner. You know, again, between like the time they sometimes get home, if they're getting home at like 6:30 and it takes my dad a while to get everything started and, you know, cooked and everything like that, it, like I said, might be you know, an hour from there. So you know, and then by that time, if we're not eating until 7:30 at night, that's kind of late. So like I was saying, I was, you know, like happy that we kind of got things switched around so I could still grill, because again too, I have a good amount of brats out in the freezer still. And then on top of that too, I showed you guys yesterday, and then also at Tony's over the last 2 days, I've gotten like, how many is that? 16 hamburgers, I think. I have four packs outside. So plus I also have one that was previously out there, so I've got a bunch of things of hamburgers as well right now. So like, you know, again, it's kind of stinks that we can't grill, but I might do that like every once in a while, like kind of switch with my mom so that I can grill, you know, or like do dinners, plan for dinner planning on the weekends, and then, like, you know, we can do grilling one night. So anyways though, but tonight for dinner, I ended up, actually, we did BLTs, and I had a package of that was going to go bad soon, so, well, like, I guess by the Best Buy date, it was like a thing of thick sliced bacon. And so I made that and realized it only had, like, I think it had maybe like 7 pieces in a package. And I was thinking, I was like, that's not even enough for like 2 sandwiches, like per, because normally like Jack and my dad will put like 2 pieces on their like BLTs. And even though they were thick pieces, like, it still wasn't like that much. So I was like, maybe I'll make another package of bacon and do the smaller, like, you know, just regular like thin sliced kind of bacon, and not thin, but just not the thick slice, just regular sliced bacon. So I ended up doing that, and so we ended up doing, like I said, the BLTs with, we had some leftover romaine, I got tomatoes, and then we also did, we had, like, you know, got mayonnaise, and that's why I bought an extra loaf of white bread this week, because I was like, I know I want to plan on doing that, because I know that there was bacon in there that was getting close to, like I said, that sell by date, and I wanted to try and use it up. So again, I got that stuff used up, but because I made 2 packages, we had leftovers afterwards. So I was like, okay, well, like, you know, again, Jack can just eat the leftover bacon, which is what he does some of the time, or else I was like, how else can we kind of use up this bacon? And I was thinking about it, I was like, well, Jack could just, you know, like warm it up for breakfast tomorrow or something like that. And then I was like, you know what? Being, I guess, kind of creative and, you know, trying to come up with the best meal plan possible, I looked and I was like, oh good, we have bagels and we have cheese and we have eggs. I was like, why not just do some homemade, you know, like bacon, egg, and cheese, like bagel sandwiches, like for everybody for breakfast. And obviously I don't eat meat, so I'm not having one, and I also don't eat eggs. I will only eat eggs if they're like baked into a cake. Like, I'm not vegan, I'll eat eggs, I'll eat cheese, I'll eat dairy, but I just don't, I can't stomach like I don't want to say raw eggs, but you know, like unless they're made into a cake or you know, something like that. Even to like the like meringue. I love meringue, but like I said, I just can't stomach like scrambled eggs or hard-boiled eggs. I used to love hard-boiled eggs, and for some reason it just, not only does it gross me out, it just upsets my stomach now. Like to this day, like I just can't eat them. So I don't, like I said, even if it was like, oh, without the bacon, I still wouldn't end up eating them. And there was a package of bagels that we didn't, that were like, again too, we've had for maybe a little while, and I was like, okay, that's another great way to get those used up too, in case nobody ends up having them before, you know, and we can keep them from going bad, you know, by using those up. So I made one for everybody with like a strip and a half of bacon, I think it was, but it was like perfect too, because I did with the egg. They're like big full sandwiches, and so like I said too, I think I did 3 eggs, so it was kind of like an egg per person as well, and then threw the cheese on top. And all I did too, it took me like no time at all I did was lay this stuff out, and then I put the bacon on there, put the cheese on there, and then I cooked the eggs in the microwave like for 2 minutes or something like that. I think 2 or 3 intervals of like 30 seconds, and then I cooked them for a full minute each. So I think it was somewhere between like 3 to 3.5 minutes, maybe something like that. But I ended up doing them in like 30 second to like 1 minute intervals. Like I didn't cook them for that whole time. And honestly, it took me just about as long to clean up from dinner, like while I was cleaning up all the dishes and you know, like I said, like washing everything, kind of just tidying up from dinner to make those. So it was, like I said, super, like, you know, wasn't time consuming or anything like that. Now everybody has a quick sandwich to go for tomorrow morning, which again too is like really useful for my dad. He likes having that stuff, especially because again, he gets up at 3 a.m. in the morning, and so he normally is like fumbling around trying to even find something to eat for breakfast. So like I said, it's useful, I guess, when he has something that's kind of like pre-made. Like even too, he'll do sometimes like oatmeal, and he'll like just, you know, like heat, like use like the Keurig like hot water, like the little oatmeal packets, and he'll throw one in of like a little container. And so then a lot of times that's what he ends up having for breakfast. So you know, like he normally is like all about like, again, convenience foods and stuff like that, and like also like fast to go things too that he can eat, because even if he doesn't end up, he can't have it for breakfast, he can always bring it with and like have it more for like a lunch, or like, you know, his, like, I think they take break or, you know, something like that, whatever, that he can also have it for then, you know, like that kind of stuff. So even if he can't have it for breakfast, but like the same thing too, like Jack's gonna be going to school, you know, and he's I think he does have more earlier morning classes that he has to go to, like drive to, but then also too, he does, and I don't remember, like I said, exactly his schedule, but I know he also has like online like classes as well. And even with those classes, you know, he might not necessarily have time to be able to make himself a huge big breakfast. Like I said, those kind of things are really nice because it's already pre-made the night before, and all you have to do is, again, just if you want to warm it up in the microwave and just throw it in there so that the bacon and eggs and the cheese is a little melty, and, you know, like I said, it's all just kind of warmed up. But I do the same thing too with English muffins, and like also with sausage patties. Like I've done that too, where it's just English muffins, sausage patty, egg, and then cheese on top. And then again too, you can just throw them in the microwave for a couple seconds, and I don't even know how long you really warm them up for, maybe like 30 seconds. Like I said, I don't normally eat them, so I don't know how long to warm them up for, but like I've made those too for like my dad and Jack especially. And then the other thing too that's another really convenient fast breakfast food is parfaits. My dad really likes those. Like I'll buy like a tub of yogurt and then just cut up like the like berries, like strawberries, we'll do like blueberries sometimes, you know, like that kind of stuff, and then throw it in, which we have these really cool little packs. I think they're from maybe they're from Rubbermaid. They're actually little, like they're kind of almost it's the same color as my walls, kind of like a bluish color, but we got them, like I said, from Walmart, and they have a lid, but then they have this little dish kind of thing that's like sits into the top of the, like the bowl. So I'll put the bowl and the fruit into like the main part, and then in the very top it has this other like little dish thing that you can kind of take out, and then the lid screws on top of that. But in the little little dish part is where I will put the granola, and so that then you can just add it if you don't want it like super mushy or anything like that. And so it's not sitting in there for forever, you know, if it's like I make a few of them is what I'll normally do, and then again too, like my dad will take them like, you know, a couple days throughout the week, but again too, they might end up sitting in there for a while, and you don't want the granola being all, like I said, mushy and stuff like that, unless of course you like it that way. But even still, like I said, it's sometimes sitting in there for a little while. But those things that I found at Walmart are so cool. I love them. They're also, you can do them with like, if you had like vegetables and you wanted to put like ranch dip, or, you know, again, like a dipping sauce or something like that in there. They're not very big. They're probably like about that big. But like I said, they're like the perfect size for those parfaits, and they end up working really well for, like I said, like the size that they are. So that's another, like I said, really convenient, fast to go kind of like breakfast thing as well, especially right now because it is kind of back to school time. Jack, I think, starts school in 2 weeks maybe. I think it is not next Monday. I want to say it's the following Monday after that is when he goes back to school. I want to say it was the last, or is that second to last? No, I think he goes back. Yeah, that's the 28th. I think that's when he goes back to school. So it's the last Monday of the month. And that's when, like I said, he starts, you know, he's college. He's in college then, and starts that. But again, too, that's another thing that's like, you know, to think of for like him even too, since he'll be home, like I said, a lot of, you know, more time than he's at school, because he doesn't have, like, I think he's 3 online classes and like 2 in-person classes. And so again, even then, he's not going to be gone that much. But still, even still, like having cereal for breakfast and stuff like that, it's still, you know, it's not prepared necessarily. And so sometimes being like, oh, I have to decide on what I want to eat, and, you know, all this kind of stuff, instead of just having your breakfast and, you know, just again kind of warming it up and, you know, just again being ready for, you know, like the day for breakfast and stuff like that without having to think about it. Because Jack also too, he doesn't like, he's the same as me. I don't really like having cereal with milk. I like dry cereal, and Jack's the same way. The only kind of cereal I will have that has milk in it is if it is, weirdly enough, just Cheerios, Honey Nut Cheerios, sometimes Rice Krispies, and like Corn Chex, like anything that's not sugary. Any type of not sugary cereal I will have with milk. Any sugary cereal, I hate the way milk tastes when it gets sugary like that. It almost tastes like sour milk to me. I don't like it at all. So I'm not a fan of having milk in cereal, and I think Jack's the same way. So even still, like if it's like, oh, have a bowl of cereal for breakfast, it's kind of just like a snack, you know. It's not really like having like a meal kind of thing. And sometimes too, it doesn't really fill you up that much either, like, you know. So anyways though, like I was saying, Jack, you know, he would prefer, I think, to have more of like the sandwich, breakfast sandwich stuff and things like that. And the other thing I've made before too is like breakfast burritos. You can do kind of the same thing, just like, you know, do scrambled eggs, add some of that in there. You can always add in like ground up like sausage, like a sausage roll, you know, kind of like, again, the sausage, like ground sausage rolls, I guess is what it is. You know, add that in there, and then I think that's kind of it. You could add like, you know, again, shredded cheese too, but it's just, you know, or salsa too. I guess you could add salsa and hot sauce if you like that. My dad would probably like that. It's funny enough, Jack actually seems to like spicy food. Me and my dad seem to like spicy foods. I don't know if Matthew's really like how spicy, like spice tolerant, I guess he is. My mom does not like anything, even a jalapeno in guacamole. She's like, no, this is too spicy. Like she won't even let me add. I was making guacamole for 4th of July, and I was like, oh, should I add like, you know, I was thinking about it like, oh, should I add something like, you know, again, like a pepper or, you know, something like that in there to kind of give it a little spice. And my mom's like, I won't eat it if it has anything too spicy in there. And I was like, really? Even just a jalapeno? And she's like, nope, I won't have it. So like I said, she is not a spicy type of person. She's not a spicy food type of person. But like I said, me and my dad and Jack, and like I said, I think maybe Matthew, but again, like some of the stuff that my mom complains is too spicy, like Jack will eat and be like, oh, this is fine. Like, and the same too with my dad, and like I said, a lot of times me too. So and like I said, I prefer like I don't know if I prefer spicy foods, but sometimes it's just like I need to have some flavor, and I feel like spicy foods and like spices like that are spicier, like again, like what's it called, cayenne pepper, like that kind of stuff, it adds a little bit extra to the seasoning of whatever I'm like eating. So sometimes I will like to have that in there. I think the spiciest my mom goes is like pepper. So, like I said, just like, you know, you can add that too, separate if you want to. You can make a couple that say hot, and then the other ones, you know, again, if my mom or Jack wants those, because like I said, I don't know how much, like, you know, my dad likes like hot sauce, and I don't know if Jack necessarily likes hot sauce or not, but again, I have noticed that sometimes he doesn't really complain that things are too spicy when, you know, again, my mom sometimes says that they are. So but I've never, like I said, seen him go out of his way to necessarily have like hot sauce and things like that. So anyways, though, that's another easy like breakfast thing that you can do, as well as like breakfast burritos and, you know, that kind of thing. So like, and I liked to, which is a little bit difficult because it doesn't keep very well, but like avocado toast, because you can like do like mashed avocados ahead of time and then, you know, add it with like, and I will do, and my dad found this recipe too, like do it with sliced tomato too, just to add a little extra to it. And I like to add everything seasoning on top of mine when I do it. But I prefer it only with like whole grain bread. I don't like it with white bread. Like the bread tastes kind of soggy after, like when you add like the avocado to it. So I don't know, even if I make it like completely fresh, like it tastes like soggy, and the white bread doesn't hold up as well, I think, as the whole grain bread does. And I think I'm also so accustomed to eating it that way that it just tastes weird if it's like with white bread. So that's what I prefer. But like you can do that kind of ahead of time and like make the avocado part of the avocado toast ahead of time. It's just a lot of times, again, too, avocados don't keep very well, and they'll start to turn brown. But the one thing that I will say, I got an avocado or like a guacamole like keeper from Aldi. That thing works insanely well. I had like I forgot about it actually. I made guacamole at some point and we had finished eating most of it, but there's still like a little bit left in there, and it somehow ended up pushed in the back of the fridge and couldn't find it and forgot that it was in there. It was probably about a week later I found it, and the avocados were still green. I did not eat it. I didn't want to taste test it, but it kept it still like so fresh, because it actually keeps the oxygen out of there, which is what causes the avocados to turn brown. The same with bananas too, and like apples and stuff like that. If you leave it out, it'll turn brown because of the like oxygen in the air or whatever. But this thing has like a suction kind of thing in there, so it actually like suctions it down to kind of like keep the air out. It keeps the avocado super fresh. But again too, if you have to do it where it's like gonna flatten out, so you can't just add regular avocado, it has to be an actual whole like you know, like crushed or, you know, smashed, like again too, if you're doing avocado toast, guacamole or whatever. But I honestly think we got it for under $10 at Aldi. It is so worth the purchase. Like if there was one thing that ever broke, that would be something I'd buy again, because it is super worth it. I love that thing. And like I said, it was very cheap when we found it at Aldi, and I was like, this is gonna be another one of those things where I'm like, oh, this is so cool, you know, we got this and everything like that. And it's one of those, I never remember to use it, or, you know, like those kitchen gadgets and stuff like that, but we use it. I use it a lot whenever I'm doing something with guacamole, or like I said, avocado toast, something like that. So again, if you have one of those, then you can do like avocado toast ahead of time, and then you just scoop it out, you just put it on the toast, and you know, you just have to toast the toast. It's not, like I said, it's not super like make ahead and then you just, you know, again, throw it in the microwave or whatever, but it's pretty, you know, like I don't have to go through the whole process of making it. Like, you know, again, make the avocados and or smash up the avocados and you add them to the, you know, like mix in the other ingredients and stuff like that, because I'll add like salt and lemon juice, that kind of thing. And then like I said, I'll cut up like the tomatoes and stuff like that, and I can like pre-slice the tomatoes and then have them for like a few days. They'll stay fresh still. So like I said, I can do that, but you know, that's one of those things where it's like a little bit convenient. The other thing I will do is breakfast potatoes too. I will make those sometimes ahead of time and just do a big batch and then leave them in the fridge, and then people can just take them out, heat them up, add cheese to them, and that's another really easy breakfast thing to do as well. I like doing that for myself. Like I will sometimes do meal prep, and that's what I'll do a lot of times for breakfast potatoes, which is literally the way I do it is I just cook the potato, I just dice them up, and then I throw olive oil on them, a little bit of salt, and sometimes I'll add bell peppers to it, and like onions on occasion, but I'll just cook them in the oven. I think it's like 350 covered for, is it uncovered? I don't remember how I make them. It's been a long time actually. But normally I cook them for roughly about an hour, but I tend to stir them every 15 minutes, and it keeps them from like sticking to like the baking dish. But that's normally, I'll cook them in a baking dish and spray the baking dish, and like say olive oil to it, and then again I just will, you know, like split them up into a couple different Tupperware containers, and then just reheat them and add cheese to them in the morning is another really easy one. So those are most of the breakfast meal prep stuff that I do, like make ahead kind of breakfast stuff. But that's a good back to school kind of thing to, I guess, remind myself that we can always do those kind of things too, because again, with Jack being here and stuff like that, that is a useful kind of, you know, like I said, tool to have, and like list to have. So anyways though, I'm gonna take a shower and get to bed. I'm gonna try and go to bed early again today, just because I think I woke up late like today because I was just really tired from getting up early yesterday to like kind of go to the grocery stores and stuff like that. We still didn't even, I didn't get up that early yesterday. I just went to bed really late on Saturday, and so then I tried to go to bed somewhat earlier yesterday, and it was still kind of late, even later than today. And so then I was like, I woke up kind of late today, and I was like, maybe if I can just get up a little bit or go to bed a little earlier today, maybe I can get up earlier tomorrow. So we will see, but I'm going to, like I said, take a shower and get to bed. I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.